Hi, and welcome to day 2. So yesterday we began learning about plane and solid shapes. We were able to identify, describe, compare, and contrast the shapes based on specific characteristics. And today we will be doing more of the same. It's just that today you'll have the opportunity to show what you know. So with that being said, let's get started. Grab your paper and your pencil and let's go to work. Okay, our I can statement for today is I can name, describe, compare, and contrast plane and solid figures or shapes according to their characteristics. Okay, just as in yesterday's goal, by the time this lesson is over, you will be able to name, describe, compare, and contrast plane and solid figures or shapes according to their characteristics. And what's a synonym for characteristics? I can't hear you. Attributes. Yes, yesterday we learned all about the word attributes, and that's another name for its properties or characteristics. You ended yesterday's lesson by completing 2 charts, one for the solids and the other for the plane shape. If you have your work nearby, it may be a good idea to grab it so we can review the answers. So, how did you do? Let's see. Okay, just take a look at the chart for a moment. How did you do? Did you get most of them correct? Did you use the information we learned in the previous lesson to help you complete the chart? So let's check it out. Sphere, 0 faces, no shapes of the faces, 0 edges, 0 vertices. What about the rectangular prism? 6 faces, all are rectangles, 12 edges, 8 vertices. As you can see here on the picture, try to identify the vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and here are the edges. If we were to go all the way around, we would count 12 edges. Okay, so once again, here are the edges, here are the vertices. And so what about this square pyramid? 5 faces, 1 face is a square, the other 4 are triangles, 8 edges, and 5 vertices. And again, you see here, the vertices have been highlighted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if we were to go all the way around the shape, we would count 8 edges, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, and finally the cube. The cube has 6 faces, all of them are squares, 12 edges, 8 vertices. Okay, if we have 4 vertices on top of the cube, how many should we have at the bottom of the cube? 4. You're absolutely correct. Okay, for a total of 8. And we know that all sides of our cube are equal. So therefore, if we have 4 on the top or 4 on the side, we should have 4 on the other side for a total of 8 vertices. Awesome. So let's move to the plane shapes. How did you do on the plane shapes? The plane shapes are fairly simple. So let's just quickly check this out. First, circle, 0 sides, 0 vertices, 0 angles. What about the square? 4 sides, 4 vertices, 4 angles. Very easy and clear to see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Next, rectangle, 4, 4, and 4. And our triangle, 3, 3, and 3. Very clear and easy to identify. Here's a corner or an angle. Here's an angle. Here's an angle. Here's a vertex. Here's a vertex. Here's a vertex for a total of 3. Wow. How did you do? Okay, it may be a good idea to hold on to both of those charts so that you can use them later and just have them as a part of your notes so it's easily recognizable, or if the question comes up to say, how many vertices does a cube have? You can easily refer to your chart. It's a good study tool. Okay, so hold on to that. All right, so let's turn and talk for a moment. You need to grab a family member, a parent, a sibling, a friend. You need to grab someone to talk to them for just a moment. Okay, let's have a discussion about these charts and things that we've learned so far. Turn and talk. Here's the first question. What do you notice about the prism and cube? Share your thoughts with someone for a moment. Press pause at any time to allow yourself some talk time or some think time, and then when you're ready, press play so that we can discuss it together. Yeah, they are similar. Most of their attributes are the same. Just remember, the cube is a special case of a rectangular prism. Okay, I'll say that again. The cube is a special case of a rectangular prism. Okay, because many of their attributes are the same. They have the same number of faces, the same number of vertices, the same number of edges. Okay, so the cube is a special case of a rectangular prism. Next, name one way plane and solid figures are alike and one way they are different. Turn and talk. Again, if you need some time to think through it and to have the discussion, press pause. And when you're ready, press play so that we can discuss it together. They are shapes with at least length and width. That's how they are alike. Okay, your plane and your solid. We know that they at least have length and width. Okay, that's how they are alike. So now, how are they different? Plane figures are flat. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. They're flat. They don't have dimension. Whereas the solid figures have volume. They have length, they have width, and they have a height. Okay? It's almost like we can reach inside of it. We can go inside of it and pull some out. For instance, I had my Kleenex box. Okay, it has length, it has height, and it has width. Okay, and I can go inside versus a regular square, it's flat. And finally, how does the sphere compare to the circle? Turn and talk. Both are round, having the same attributes. No edges, no faces, no angles, or vertices. So that's how the sphere compared to the circle. So good job. I hope you have fun talking with a family member. So now it's quiz time. Okay? You'll need paper and pencil, and please number your paper from 1 to 6. Again, number your paper from 1 to 6. Feel free to fold your paper into sixes or just number your paper 1 to 6. That's fine. Here's what I'll do. I'll flash the question and then the answer. Feel free to press pause at any time after each question if you need more think time. Okay, so once again, I'll flash the question. Feel free to pause it in between each question to allow yourself some time to think, and then press play when you are ready for the answer. Are you ready? Let's get started. Number 1, Okay, what am I? I am a solid figure that is perfectly round. I do not have flat faces, and I do not have edges. What am I? Press pause if you need time to think and write, and when you're ready for the answer, press play. A sphere. If you said sphere, you are correct. You may check it. Number 2, what am I? Square pyramid. Square pyramid has 5 faces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 square face as the base and 4 triangle faces. This is known as the net because it's flat. If we were to fold the shape at its edges, it would be a square pyramid. Okay, so the answer is a square pyramid. Number 3, I have 6 flat faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. Not all of my edges are the same length. What am I? Press pause if you need some time, and when you're ready, press play for the answer. Rectangular prism. How are you doing so far? Make sure you put a check if you are correct. Next. Which is a true statement about squares and cubes? A, both figures have edges and sides. B, both figures have length, width, and height. C, both figures have angles and vertices. D, both figures are solid figures. Which is a true statement about squares and cubes? If you said C, you are correct. Both figures have angles and vertices. Okay, think about the question. It's asking about a plane shape and a solid shape, squares and cubes. So we know that it can't be B. Okay, if we had to slash the trash, we can get rid of B because B are just for solids, have length, width, and height. Okay. So therefore, the best answer is both figures have angles and vertices. Oh, we know we can get rid of D because it says it's a dead giveaway. It says both figures are solid figures. Well, they're not because we have squares and cubes. So we're left with 50-50, A and C. And which is the best? Both figures have angles and vertices. And you think back to our charts we completed at the beginning of the lesson, it tells us that they have angles and they have vertices. Awesome. Moving on. Which solid figure could be formed by the faces shown below? This should be an easy one. If you said a cube, you're absolutely right. What are the shapes? Squares. And how many? 6. Again, hint, we could have used our chart from earlier in the lesson. Okay. Here's a write and respond question. Juan cut 3 shapes out of paper. He has 2 circles that are the same size and 1 rectangle with 2 sides equal in length to the circumference of the circles. Which shape can Juan most likely form? Justify your response. That just means explain your answer. You can write it right on your paper. Juan cut 3 shapes out of paper. He has 2 circles that are the same size and 1 rectangle with 2 sides equal in length to the circumference of the circles. Which shape can Juan most likely form? Justify your response. You may need a little more time for this one, so feel free to press pause, and when you're ready, press play so we can discuss the answer. Okay. Here's the answer. Juan cut 3 shapes out of paper. He has 2 circles that are the same size and 1 rectangle with 2 sides equal in length to the circumference of the circles. Which shape can Juan most likely form? Justify your response. Okay, why do you think I have some information highlighted in our problem? Yeah, because it's important. There are a lot of words in this, and sometimes we can get so lost in all of those words. So let's pull out what we need. Pull out the information that's going to help us solve a problem like this. So first I highlighted 3 shapes because in my head, I know that I have to start with 3 shapes. 2 circles. So out of those 3 shapes, 2 of them are circles of the same size. And then 1 shape is a rectangle with 2 sides equal in length. So I have to make sure I draw that properly. And as you can see here, that's what I've done. 2 circles, and here's the rectangle. Which shape can one most likely form? Which shape is this? If you said cylinder, you are correct. And that's all a part of your explanation. How did you come up with a cylinder? Oh, I know that cylinder has 2 circles. They're faces of a cylinder. 2 circles, 1 rectangle, equal size. You can use all of the information that we highlighted to justify your response. Okay, so that's the end of our quiz. You should have 6 answers. So let's see, how did you do? Okay, 6 out of 6, 100%. I know we all received a 100%, right? Okay, if you miss 1, that's 5 out of 6. That's an 83%. Okay, 4 out of 6, 66%. 3 out of 6 is, yep, 50%. 2 out of 6, 33%, and 1 out of 6, 16%. So once again, if you got them all right, that's 100%. If you miss 1, that's 83%. If you miss 2, that's 66%. If you miss 3, you do the math. What is that? Yeah, 50%. If you miss 4, that's 33%. And if you miss 5, that's 16%. But I know we don't have to worry about any of that, right? So kiss your brain. Awesome. Okay, we are done. That brings us to the end of today's lesson. Our goal for today was to name, describe, compare and contrast plain and solid figures according to their characteristics. And we were able to do that by completing the charts and completing our quiz. Okay, please join me tomorrow for our Math Meets Literacy Day.